Anything else you're seeing in the market you think is notable that proprietors should know about?
Again, like I mentioned the non-alc, and I actually
Yeah.
did want to touch on that because we actually have a non-alc beer. It's called Just the Haze with Sam Adams. We actually won gold medal at the Great American Beer Festival for the best non-alc beer in America this
Wow.
past year. So
Hmm.
super excited for that. And it's something that I've had a lot of success with. Again, I call on national chains. We've been getting a ton of new placements of that. So something I would recommend for any center, if you don't have non-alc beer, it's a miss. So whether it's us or someone else, I would recommend carrying a non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
Of course, being the official beer sponsor of bowling and BPAA, we hope that it would be our Sam Adams. But the feedback on the beer and kind of what we're seeing in non-alc is similar to what we saw happen in the beer industry in the 80s. So if you think of non-alc, it used to be just like your yellow beer. So we're talking like O'Doul's or
Right.
St. Right. So just
So,
kind of like your yellow, kind of easy drinking beer. Then we saw like the imports come in, like Heineken Zero, which is a huge
right.
one. Right. So then we start to see that kind of pick up a little bit. And now within the last couple of years, you're seeing people are looking for more flavor. People are choosing a non-alc beer, not because they just don't drink beer at all or they don't drink, it's not just people that don't drink at all that are drinking non-alc beers. Who's drinking non-alc beers are some of our younger consumers who want to be able to maybe have a beer and maybe be able to drink, a few throughout the night. So it's kind of like their pacer beer. A lot of the younger youth, they're kind of looking at like healthier alternatives. So like, even though it's not necessarily like a Truly or like a low calorie option, it's a healthier choice than drinking beer all night,
Sure.
but they don't want to sacrifice the flavor. And so
Yeah.
we're seeing that what's really driving the growth of non-alc beers that I mentioned earlier is these craft non-alc beers. And our Sam Adams Just the Haze, if anyone hasn't tried it, please reach out to your distributor or your local Boston beer rep to get you a sample. Because if you try it, and if I didn't tell you it was a non-alc beer, you would think you're drinking an IPA, like a
Really?
hazy IPA. It is phenomenal. It's delicious. I love beer. It's
Yeah.
so good. But I kind of want to have a little kick when I'm drinking a beer because
Sure.
if I'm going to have if I'm going to have the calories, then I want to get the buzz as
Right.
well.
Yeah, exactly.
But not everybody's that way. And so it's something that I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up that the non-alc opportunity and that your center should be carrying that as well.
Yeah, that's a great point because I feel like, before just having some kind of non-alcoholic beer, it's just, you kind of get what you get, right? You there's two options, like that's all you get. You wouldn't expect to get more, but now people are like, hey, if it's there, I want something, I want to enjoy it.
Yeah. And I think kind of a misconception that maybe some of our retailers and operators might have is that non-alc beer doesn't sell, but then they need to reevaluate what is it you're carrying. Because if you're having like, Duels or St. Pauli's Girl, like you're probably missing like, a younger drinker who's looking for a full flavored non-alc is probably not going to order that. They're just probably like, I'm not going to waste my money on that because you can charge what you're charging for your beers. So I would basically encourage, operators to really understand if it's not selling, why, what are you carrying? And maybe consider trying a full flavored craft.
And what do you think a trial would consist of that? Just put a few cases and try it, or
And
what would
that's
be a true test?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I would say the beautiful thing about packaged beer is it's not a lifetime commitment. Right? We're not asking for precious real estate like a draft line. I know your draft lines are your money makers. It's really bringing in a couple cases, but letting people know you have it. So if you have a drink list, making sure it's listed on your drink list. If you don't display your packaged beer, I'd highly recommend that you do. So like just because when people walk up to your bar, they're looking at your draft lineup to see what you have. They're not necessarily going to know what you have in package unless you have it prominently displayed, right behind the back, above, or you have a drink list. And I would call it out at this point and make sure that you have it called out on your drink list. Another recommendation we also have with drink lists is having a special section that says maybe you have a beer section and then maybe a beyond beer section and then maybe like your non-alc. And this is something I've been recommending to a lot of my chain partners because I think they're always trying to figure out, where do we put this? And, there's been, I work for the company, right? I work for Boston Beer and I'll be looking on a menu for like Angry Orchard or Truly. And if they have it listed with all the beer, sometimes it's hard to find. Like I'm looking for it. and
Yeah.
I know they have it, and I'm like, wait, where is it on the list? But if you
Mm-hmm.
have a section that says beer, and you have a section that says beyond beer, and a section that's, your non-alc beer, it can make
Mm-hmm.
it easier for your drinkers to shop, and again, just more likely to get that purchase versus
Right.
something that you might miss because they didn't know that you have it.
Yeah, I mean, even just talking to you about kind of how you guys categorize them is kind of opening my eyes. Like, all right, here's the different categories, because a lot of times it's just list and it's just everything straight down there, alphabetical, and it's
Yeah.
hard to find what you're looking for just based off of that. But to put it break into those 3 categories.
Yep, super helpful. Especially, I mean, you think of like a place like Yard House. You go into
Mm-hmm.
Yard House and they have like 100 draft lines.
Right.
Don't know beer. They're walking in and they're so confused. They'll be like, I'll have a Coors Light while I'm thinking
Yeah.
about the next beer is, but I just don't
Right.
want to be looking this whole time.
Yeah.
Same thing. You make the menu
Mm-hmm.
shoppable to help increase your sales
Right.
and satisfaction of your
Yeah.
drinkers.
Well, and you don't want to be in a line and you don't know what you want and everyone's behind you giving you dagger eyes. Like, just keep going, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, did you like this video? Great. We make 10 of them a week. Subscribe to learn more and keep learning about what's working in the industry. Talk to you then.